Hi guys, Vatsal Shah back on the business track. I hope you had a great lunch. And now it is the great time to introduce one of the fantastic speaker of the day. That is myself. Uh, Being a host, it is also one of the privileges you don't have that somebody else will introduce you. So here I'm introducing myself. I'm Vatsal Shah. Most of you know me if you are part of India. And then many of the Magento community people are well connected with me in the various ways. Today I'm going to talk on business intelligence and consumer psychology. So a couple of sessions earlier, we discussed about RFM metrics. We also talked about consumer psychology in digital sessions led by Matthew and Aparna both. Today I'm going to bring some more insights about BI and how consumer psychology can help you generate more sales. Uh, Actually, it is underrated term by most of the SMEs or the retail chains. But when you actually look at the power of it, it works well. I actually found, or you can say, discovered the power of BI in 2007-8 when I was working as a product head in one of the company, and there we were planning to make a BI tool. And at that time, like it was earlier time where Magento got launched, and at that time BI was a nightmare for many people. We chose some open source platform to work on a BI, and I read an interesting book called Drilling Down, which was written by Mr. Jim Novo. And from that day, I understood the power of BI. I have discussed about this BI's power in various business schools wherever I take sessions and talk to many merchants whomsoever I guide and train that how they can excel in their e-commerce journey. Today we'll talk about it. And this is the same blog, same content I publish on Magento Association site. So if you miss any part of my talk or you want further details, you can go on Magento Association site and read this blog. Same you can find on my blog, which is called ecomkida.com. Make sure you remember to mention Meet Magento 21 IN and Vatsal Shah if you are doing Twitter or on LinkedIn. I know you guys would be sharing some bits, but yeah, make sure you don't miss Meet Magento 21 IN. It is one of the fantastic and great event for India. So we should be proud of our event, and it has been great run since the morning. And after this session, again, I will jump back as a host. Let me focus on BI and consumer psychology first. If I give brief introduction about myself, since 12 years, I am running a pragmatic consultancy. I founded it and running it. I'm acting as a business coach and mentor to various Magento SIs, tech partners, WordPress ecosystem, ERP ecosystem. Majorly, I guide IT companies grow big. And I act as an e-commerce consultant in one of the venture I have, which is called ecomkida.com. So many readers come to our blog to get insights of it. And some of the statistics are there, which tells what I have been doing. But I personally love to contribute on Meet Magento. Last year, you found me as a host also in Singapore and today again. So I have been part of various WordCamps, Meet Magentos, going on industrial talks or universities. I'm known for being upfront, tough, and demanding, and I get rewards for being so. This is a brief about me, which is not more important. More important is how you can consult your customers on BI and consumer psychology so that you just don't make e-commerce for them. You help them generate more revenue out of it. So today's talk is common queries by the marketers. So it happens that we make a store, we give to the merchant or retailer or wholesaler that this is the store, you can go ahead and use it and make more money. Now the question comes, how they will make it. So the marketing is the actual engine which is going to bring the traffic, engage it, and convert it. And then that goes in loop. So how this BI can help you doing that? I will also share a story of a smart retailer from Ahmedabad, which I personally mentored, and they are known for what amazing way of BI they are using. I will also tell who should use BI and who should not. We will also go into the details of RFM analysis, which is a game changer, actually. And then Aparna talked about it a bit, but we'll go more in deeper sense of it. And I will connect that with the campaigns. So what kind of campaigns you can fire. The people who are selling Magento extension and components, or who are tech partners, or who are selling products on subscription, you can use this logic as well. And then we will talk about the consumer psychology around APAC region for millennials and Generation Z, and what are the areas they are looking at when you connect them as a seller. And then we will conclude the talk. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do a Q&A because I am the one who is hosting and moderating, and I am the one who is speaking. So I will not be able to go back and find the questions. But if you have it, you can DM me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I will be happy to answer it. Most common questions to online sellers. So if you look at a business analyst profile or solution head in your, say, typical system integrator or Magento partner, what they ask customers is, who is your buyer? Can you share the buyer's persona, how they will interact with the system, how they will go ahead? What kind of buyers are paying more? Who are your primary customers? Who are your secondary customers? And when they come on your site, what are the expected ways or workflows you want them to behave, or how they are behaving in your current site if you are replatforming? And what is the frequency of purchase, and what is the consumer behavior? This is the same set of questions asked by a digital marketing agency who is setting a digital marketing strategy for a merchant. And for merchant or for a seller or a retailer, answering this is like a nightmare because they are busy selling, they don't know the data, and then you need a different eyes to interpret this data. So we'll go into more details that how it works and how this logic works, how it is wired, and then how it can help when you know yourself better. So when people say, okay, how can you be confident about your life's goal and your mission about contributing to the world? So I say, I should know my design. So if I know myself well, if I know my purpose of life, I can do well. Similarly, if business owner knows their business well, and if they know the data, if they know their customers, that is the beginning of the wisdom. And that's where you can take a next leap in your business, or you can say you can switch your fortune to the next leap. Let me share a story of a smart retailer. I just happened to talk about it. There was an old guy. He started his business when he was young, somewhere around 30. And then he had a keen memory. So psychology says that the great seller will have amazing memory, mammoth size of memory to remember all the customers, their persona, their buying pattern, what frequency they come with, whom they come along while buying, and most importantly, their names. That is called being personal. That is called personalization. Now we are trying to automate things and bring personalization in. But now if you look at the traditional way of business, most of the business owners were knowing their key customers by name. The moment you walk in, they will say, hey, Mr. Shah, how are you? You bought X thing last time. How it is working? And then I would say, yeah, man, he knows me. He knows almost everything about me. And he's taking extra care to ask me that what I bought last time is working fine or not. And then he will engage further in the conversation. So it will be more of a conversational commerce here. And then he will say, okay, what are you looking for now? Then I will say, okay, this is my pain area, or I'm looking for this. And smartly, that counter sales guy will prescribe me some of the goods. This is going to fit to you, or this is based for your need. You can go for this. And the moment you say, okay, wow, this is for me, transaction happens. Now, this smart retailer grows bigger. That guy grows older as well. So I am right now about to hit 40, but I can see that there has been a problem about recalling names or finding the data faster. So you can say throughput and the query mechanism is going a bit down because the computer system is older. Now you look at that guy is growing at 50, 60. He's still pushing up and knowing his customers. Now, while his journey of 30 to 60, he has been a fantastic seller, great products. So he grew his chain from say 2 shops to 5 shops. Now, the same guy cannot be available everywhere. They also happen to venture into the e-commerce because their son said, Father, let's go on e-commerce. Now they have a disconnected customer, people who come offline, people who come online, or maybe switching from each other. But they don't know who is the same customer buying online and offline at what frequency. And then when you have 4 shops, you don't recall all the customers. Now, how you play this game? Now this is a problem for a business owner. So that smart retailer thought, how about coding my piece of brain into the code? And he asked to create a business intelligence tool which maps all the customers in all the channels. And then he can create a magic, because the moment you walk in, they know who you are, how many people you have referred, how much business you have given, what is your lifetime value, what is your average order value, whether you are a customer who is going to buy from economical segment or a premium segment or somewhere in between. What are your pattern of buying? How many months after you come up so that I greet you and say, okay, hey, it has been 3 months. You have not been to my shop, because as a shopkeeper, I know you come every 3 months. Now this smart retailer implemented BI, and they created a primary key with a mobile number of a customer. And then they created a nodes, how many other customers are connected with this customer. So they just don't know the power of that buyer. They also know what is the power of his network to come and buy, how big that influencer is. And they were able to find who are the game changers, who are the influencers, who are the key buyers. Knowing your customers well creates a hell lot of difference in your business. This gives you a privilege that you don't go out into the market and hunt for new customers. Instead, you churn your data and make more business from the current set of customers. This is a story of offline retail. And that gentleman applied BI for his offline retail. Now, in digital commerce space, it is not an option. Now, when you are using Magento, or you are using BigCommerce, or you're using Shopify, you need to connect marketing automation tool, which also have Rfm analysis, business intelligence, which tells who is the segment of what is the segment of a customer, how soon they are going to buy, what is the range they are going to buy, which product their preferred ones. And based on that, any personalization engine, which is maybe led by the AI or not, they will depend on this data as a prerequisite to show personalized recommendation on the screen. So without this data in the back, nothing can function on the front. So it's important that you have this as a prerequisite, and then you go ahead with the AI, and then personalization, and so on. And that is one of the reasons I would say when Magento got matured, they had Magento Commerce Cloud coming along with the BI. Many few people I have seen that though they have it, they don't use it full. So if you are on Magento Commerce Cloud as a merchant, or if you are a development company who is configuring for your merchant, make sure you implement BI well for them so that they can use the power of it. Let's go more deeper to it. Is BI for everyone? It's a fantastic question. So I would say it is highly underrated by SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises. They are busy doing their current work. They are busy planning for the next goals. They are busy implementing or improving their process. They are busy in delivering. But the best part which they miss is piling on the data. The data which they have, they should work on it and see the data in a different lens. They have to find what could be the next trend such that they can sell it well. And they can sell to the same customer again and again and again, and still customer love you and they become your brand advocate. How you play this game? Again, we will look at that in coming slides. Second, merchants or retailers are supposed to have an openness to see their own data, and they need to see it in a new viewpoint. If they are unable to do it, ultimately then they will end up seeing the basic reports like top selling product, worst selling product, not moving product, top categories, top client, and that's it. And then the best part, what is the number today and what is the amount today? Life is beyond that. Think beyond it. Then you can see that how you can use your current data as a magnet such that you can generate this more. Let us see how RFM analysis works, how the segmentation works, how it helps in targeting your right customers in the right manner. So RFM stands for recent, frequent, and high value customers. You can say them as HNI clients as well. The best customer you have is R intersection F intersection M. Most of the RFM metrics, they work with the scorecard. So for example, if I'm rating customers on say lowest score to 1 and highest score to 5, the recent one, you rate them as a 5, and the older one, you say at 1. So with the time passes by, their score goes down. That is the way you do lead scoring in CRM. RFM metrics score your customer. Frequent customer. So if customer is buying again and again at regular interval, you can set that interval that after what interval a customer buys, I will rate them 5. So the recent and frequent customers getting 5, less frequent customers will get 4. People who just buy once a year, they will get 1. And then you can set the frequency accordingly. And then the high value customers, the people who have average order value higher, you can put them as HNI client. And then people who are buying a bit smaller in range, then you can put them as a middle layer, so 3. And then people who are buying economical products, you can put that 1. Now for the business, all customer matters. So if somebody is not buying high value buying high value products, but they are buying frequently, again, that customer is important, but the way I engage to that customer will be different than I engage with my high value customer. So the treatment or experience the high value customer asks for is different. You have to behave differently, you have to engage differently, you have to communicate differently, and your process has to change depending on who they are. So you will find some customers who are just recent one, they are first time buyers. You will find some customers who are recent and frequent. They come every month or every 15 days or every quarter or every year. You will also have customers who are not buying frequently, but whenever they come, they buy with the high price or they pay you more. And there are some customers who are frequent buyers, but they are not high value customers. Means that each order value is a lesser. Now you look at this combination and you find there is an intersection of R and F. You will find R and M, you will find F and M, and you will find R, F, M together. These all are different sets. Treat them differently. Let me give you some example. If somebody is your first time buyer, you run a campaign to say, thank you for stopping by my store. You have been precious customer. We welcome you for first time. And then it has been amazing experience dealing with you. Second, if you are a frequent buyer, you give them compelling experience. You care for them a lot. Why? Because they are resulting into the continuous recurring revenue or valuation of your brand. They are the reason for whom you run the shop, why you run your shop. And then they come back again and again, and they are your brand advocates. And they will go back to the world and say, hey, I am buying from this shop again and again, or from this site again and again, visit, buy from that. For doing that advocacy, they are not paid, but still they do it. Consider your high value customer. You run exclusive offer for them. Sometimes you give them personalized content. You create a separate store or login for them. You create a separate site for them. Magento has that facility that you can have multi-storefront. So you create a different storefront for them, and then you put up all new products coming in or high-end products coming in for them. Once they look at it, they buy it, and then you can bring it to the regular store. Don't miss their special days, and then they love to they love the feeling called being special. They want special treatment, so make sure you do that with them. If your regular buyers are there, sometimes they stop buying, they switch to it. So when you know that there is a pattern going on and the pattern is broken in between, you catch that point and you go back to the customer, say, hey, you were loving us, you were buying from us again and again, what went wrong? And then you can resolve, you can give them other offer, and then you can bring them back. That is called winning back customers. And then if your frequent buyer miss the cycle, that doesn't mean they go away from somebody else, but you want to bring them to come back into the cycle. And then you have to track that which cycle they are coming in. So either they are coming online or offline, which trend is shifting. Instead of that buyer, who else is buying from their house? And then you can see that how things are going on. So these are the various examples I gave. You can think many more permutations, combinations about it. You can read more about RFM. There are special books available only on RFM. Please read through it. It is actually important for the business analysts, solution heads. If you are an SI who is making the store and digital marketing agencies, this is a must-have knowledge for you. Success KPIs, which further can be contributed by BI. It helps you increase your average order value, which we discussed. It also helps you increase LTV for your customers. So lifetime value of the same customer increases because you persuade them to buy again and again. You can also increase return on investment. So all the marketing expense you make, instead of running a paid advertisement on Google and Facebook to find new customer, you can utilize the budget in communicating to your old clients, which will be more economical, and still you get better returns. So ROI is going to be higher when you use BI. Your cost per new customer acquisition will go down because, for example, any business has a maximum capacity. So for example, as a store, if I can serve 1,000 customers in a month, now out of that, if 750 are recurring customers, then I'm supposed to spend money for buying only 250 new customers. So overall, my budget on the marketing spend goes down if I do BI well. And then it is also going to help me in economic order quantity. It also helps me in the back end, how many products I should order, what to make, what is going to move faster in what quantity in which season. So not only just selling, I can take care of my procurement, inventory management, warehousing, shelf, and how to manage endless ILs. Everything is tied up with the BI. So that's the reason I said it is highly underrated term. But if you are a merchant or going to talk to a merchant, make sure you tell them use BI. Now, let's go to a point called consumer psychology. Right now, we are dealing with two segments, which are your online buyers. One is millennials. They are called me generation. I am exactly on the boundary of millennials. And then there are some people who will be Generation Z, which is the digital natives, which is going to be your next set of buyers, or they have started buying because they are in early 20s. Now, what they need? Millennials is a me generation. They want status quo. They want personalized experience. They want to look special. If something goes new into the market, they want first offer in their hand. They want to stay upgraded, ahead of the curve. They want to feel important and need instant gratification. And if you give them new things on time, they don't mind giving you recommendations on your social media as well. This is called millennials. Then second guy, which is Generation Z. Now, if you look at Generation Z, they know everything because they are everywhere on digital space. They check about your company on social media, on Google or various platforms. They be choosy before making a judgment that I want to buy from this company. And if you just stay in front of them, in front of their eyes, one day they will make a decision, okay, let's go for that. They need personalization. So if you have a BI on your hand, then you know what that customer actually want, and you can personalize communication. You can bring in, you can say, a different content to a different kind of person, depending on the race, caste, class, geography, and the buying pattern, and gender, and so on. So these are the people who's actually pulling in AI and personalization for sure. And then the millennials are the one who is bringing in speed, and they are pushing for PWA for sure. So whenever you're talking and you're deciding what I should go for, think for whom you're making, millennials or Generation Z or both. I would say both of them would be your next majority of buyers. Generation Z are very thoughtful about buying. They don't spend just like that. They look at high quality and trustworthiness as well. So social proof comes as a very, very important factor here. So when you're communicating to Generation Z in your email or on your website, you need to take care of that because they want to see that what other unknown people are saying about this company, and they use that as a proof of concept or social proof before buying. Areas to focus, I would say you can have parity. If you want to judge or work with both the parties like millennials and Generation Z, you need to bring a balance. You need to bring a parity between quality and price. You have to be there on social media engagement, and you must use nowadays a video content to persuade them come back to your store again and again. I would say some of the brands in India is doing amazingly well. If you listen to my previous talk of content-driven commerce at Meet Magento UK, you can see the examples as well, that Nike, Under Armour, Apple are doing amazing conversation using video content. There is no wonder why they're doing it. There is a reason behind it. And now Indian brands have also learned about it, and they're doing it well. You need to work on your site speed. So PWA guys, you are important for everyone. Being environment friendly, yes. Millennials and Generation Z, now they are switching to environment friendly products as well. They want locally relevant products. So as most of the countries are aiming on Make in India kind of campaigns, so you have to be locally relevant. You have to work on personalization and customization. So if you give the features on customization, that's great. So live try and live customization is one, but personalized content depending on the user's persona, that is the magic. And then you can use Magento products, you can use Adobe products, you can use third-party products as well to bring personalization on the screen. Yeah, but when you are selling in UK and Europe, personalization will be getting hampered because of the cookie policy, GDPR, and so on. Showing and managing trust is very important. And then you have to be agile. You have to constantly evolve your store. You have to upgrade your store. It has to look fresh with the new product, new offers. So here the page builder comes into the picture. So you need to have awesome CMS to run your e-commerce store. If you are a brand, it matters. If you are a merchant and trader, it's okay. Then you can omit this point, but still you need to work on BI. And you have to be available. Now, many of the brands, they communicate great, but their products are not available. Even their customer care executive or somebody on chat is not available. And then the robots are answering. It's not going to work. So make sure you be available to the customer. The winning strategy, BI plus psychology. If you combine together, it wins. When psychology meets the data, the magic is obvious. Mark these words. When psychology meets data, magic is obvious. When I train people in the sales, I tell them sales is a psychological conversation. Make sure you do it right. It's important to know the pulse of the customer. If you are on the pulse of the customer, then you act like a doctor, and what you prescribe is become prescription, and sales become automatic. Make sure you have that one magic, which is called prescription-based sales, and then you be a friend of your customer, you act like a doctor, and you sell with the magic. And the last line, don't wait for magic to create or to happen. You have to create it. Don't wait. Use BI, use intelligence, use great tools, and your site, your store, your retail chain, which is nowadays, we are talking about omni-channel experience, can be intelligent enough to create that magic. Make sure you create that magic and woo the customers. These are my credentials. You can follow on them. You can connect to them. And then I will be happy to answer your queries. If you are a reader, go on the blog called econquida.com and read a lot of content about it. This is it about BI and psychology from my end. And now it's time to say goodbye as a speaker. And now I will be going back to the role of host. Thank you guys for listening. You have been an amazing audience. Thank you.